Moral relativist, humanist, God denier, whatever flag you fly. We get it. We've been listening. We hear your outcry. We know you're sick and tired of living life in this depraved culture where people put out their nativity scenes and force their kids to learn Bible verses and don't rush to the streets to cheer for floats of half-naked sodomites, swapping spit and shoving their sexuality in everyone's face, like putting pee-pee in poop chute is something special to be cherished. We know you have been oppressed for far too long by those who don't see how ripping an unborn infant from a woman's womb is a constitutional right. We know how your tender sensibilities are violated any time some blowhard thanks God or mentions the name of Jesus Christ in a non-profane way. And we'd like to thank you for voicing your cultured and educated opinions on every woe religion and the blind dupes following after it have brought upon society, and how education is enlightenment and the key to turning the mothership. So, in the spirit of education, and because we know you really understand the issues as superior life forms you know you are, let's tune into the central idea insemination outlet of the mothership and hear for ourselves what newest right the duly elected leadership has procured for us in accordance with what was already in motion prior to the voted dope charade last November. The right, as an American citizen, to get droned.
Hey, Gene, you saw what Isikoff is reporting on these drone strikes and the legal justification, if you want to call it that. It's pretty shocking. No judicial review. They don't even have to have any actionable intelligence that you're planning to do anything against the United States of America. It's pretty chilling.
It looks pretty shaky, to tell you the truth. I mean, it speaks of you have to be planning an imminent attack, but imminent seems to mean maybe sometime in the future. So it's a very flexible concept. Look, I think we all need to really look into this, and there should be some accountability on this, and it needs to be spelled out in greater detail and in detail that makes sense.
It doesn't even have to be an imminent attack, according to the memo. If an informed high-level official of the U.S. government determines that the target American has recently been involved in activities posing a threat to the United States, even if there's no evidence of an imminent attack, they can still be killed. American citizens can still be killed across the globe. And, of course, Willie brought up the time of the campaign where Robert Gibbs was asked why the son of the American son of an American suspect was killed after his father was killed sometime later, the 16-year-old. And the answer from Robert Gibbs in the White House was, well, he should have had a better father.
Well, this is something that we need to have some hearings on, and that would be worthwhile, I think, rather than hearings that are basically aimed at personal self-aggrandizement. This is important stuff, and it was important under George W. Bush how we conducted ourselves in the war against terror and what we did in the name of the American people, and it's important under President Obama.
And we were talking back to, I think it was 2004, 2005, when Padilla was thrown in jail and not given access to a lawyer. The New York Times wrote a huge Sunday spread and made people like me look at it and go, wow, he's an American citizen. He has constitutional rights. He has the right to counsel under the United States Constitution. He should get it, and he finally did get it. And that was shocking to a lot of Americans. And yet, everybody acts sort of with a yawn. Here, you basically have no rights if you're an American citizen overseas if the government targets you.
Well, overseas is interesting too, because does this mean it can't be done domestically? If in the interest of national security, if in fact the logic is, this is the ultimate manifestation, the ultimate product of what we've been living with for 11 years now, which is this blending of law enforcement, the ethics and tactics of war, and technology. And I would love to know, and I hope we will, what the debate was internally throughout this. I'm sure the president, given his disposition and having been a constitutional law professor, must have had some thoughts about this. But it is also, interestingly, something that began in the very earliest days of the American presidency and is now continues to be an issue, which is to what extent is the executive power unaccountable if the executive power is acting in what it believes to be the cause of the survival of the country. Jefferson said that the duty of the chief magistrate is to the law, but it is not the highest duty. But the highest duty is the survival of the country. And presidents throughout have made these decisions that have gone ever farther, and this is the farthest they've gone, it seems to me.
No evidence, no judicial review, no imminent threat, and no rights to face a judge, no rights to face a peer. And again, by this new standard, if your father was suspected of being a terrorist,
right,
you can be killed. And just bluntly, the way things work these days, if you are within the vicinity of somebody who is suspected without evidence of being a terrorist, you are now presumed guilty, and you are presumed guilty in these new heinously low standards.
Well, listen, if you look at the communities that have been under attack by drone attacks and what they've had to experience with the surveillance and just the fear they live in, you can get a better sense of why we need not be yawning about these things. I think this is really, really serious, and we should challenge folks to think about, these kind of presidential powers in the sort of hands of a president that you didn't support, right? That's the sort of the threshold and the kind of test for whether or not we should all be up in arms around this very, very low threshold, I think, for using drones.
Well, there's
such a low threshold.
Yeah.
And there's no question if this were a Republican president, I think the
outcry would be,
the temperature and the tone this morning would be even higher.
Oh my God! Again, I'm saying everybody that was so shocked and stunned by these quote terror memos.
Yeah.
Again, I've talked about it an awful lot here, where you have U.S. troops and Pakistani troops working together, go through suburban, Pakistani neighborhoods, see somebody like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed out of a house, making sure to kill nobody while seizing him, pulling him out, taking him out of the country, and then interrogating him. Compare that now to dropping a drone, Peter, on a house and killing 15 people. What offends me so much is the belief among those who support drone attacks, who are so offended by enhanced interrogation. They think it's clean. There's nothing clean about it. And we all saw this coming a mile off when Bush was leaving office and people were talking about they needed to take him to The Hague and he needed to be tried for war crimes. I said just wait. Just wait. If we ramp up the drone attacks, just wait 4 years from now or 8 years from now, Barack Obama is not going to want to see the slides of the 5-year-old girls dismembered by our drone strikes.
Exactly right.
And at the end of the day, everyone needs to be paying attention to how these drones and drone attacks are being used, what the thresholds are, what the so-called collateral damage is. And it doesn't matter who's in office. Presidential powers this way or unchecked are something that we should be really, really concerned about.
And the problem is we can't pay attention. I mean, because so much of this is classified. It's still classified. Michael Isikoff managed to get this memo as senators are demanding more information. But we should all demand more information. We need to know what's being done, again, in our names, because this is not clean, it's not surgical, it's messy, and it's deadly, and the collateral damage is awful.
Now I know you, as good, honest, freedom-loving folk with hearts of pure gold, are shocked and horrified by what you hear here. But have no fear, we know the Messiah, the Big O, is just guiltless. He wouldn't really have any stake in this shenanigan. This is just the how to control war hawks at the Pentagon and all, don't you know?
Iron Man, would you be supporting Barack Obama this year?
Yeah. Okay, but I would support Obama, yes.
Can I interview you for 2 minutes? Beautiful, awesome. My name is Luke Radowski of We Are Change. I'm going to name off a couple policies that Romney's proposing. If he becomes president, he's going to implement. I want to know what you think about him as an Obama supporter. Romney said he would not only extend the Patriot Act, but expand it, and also surveil and spy on American citizens more without a warrant. Romney has actually called for this. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel good about it at all, period. Nah. He's going too far with this. Nah. People need their privacy, man. That's too far. That's why Obama is my boy, man. He just know what to do. He's like, I don't know. I support Obama all the way, man. Romney, He need work.
But I just don't believe the government should be able to invade our privacy like that. We're citizens of this country. We shouldn't be treated like we're all criminals.
I agree. She sums it up very nicely. It's just disturbing and wrong, and yeah.
Romney actually said he would support a law called the NDAA, which would grant him the power to indefinitely detain any American citizen and arrest any American citizen at any time he wants under his discretion to fight the war on terror, without a court of law. How do you feel about that?
Again, unconstitutional and immoral.
Yeah, if he, no.
But it's kind of crazy. It sounds stupid.
And it's definitely something that I wouldn't support. It's all about freedom here and due process, and a law like that just doesn't apply.
I don't feel good about that. Obviously, this country is built on freedom, and we continue to try to strive for that in both economics and social life. And this country has attracted many, many people for that reason alone.
That's a violation of our absolute rights. It's not possible to do that.
No.
I think he's a psychopath. And as an immigrant, I totally disagree.
Romney is actually proposing to actually establish a secret kill list that also would include American citizens, which he would personally call off on and decide if they would get drone bombed or not. How do you feel about that policy Romney is proposing?
Well, I mean, it sounds unconstitutional to me, and immoral, and he talks about morality all the time.
He's watching too much Terminator, actually.
People have a right to live, whether they're terrorists or not. I'm not a person that supports terrorism, but I say that they should get prosecuted and they should go to jail, not killed.
Coming from a country that used to be a dictatorship, I don't really want to go back to that.
It's kind of scary.
Yes.
Romney also proposed using drone bombs in countries that we haven't declared war in, and actually said he would expand them 6 times more than George W. Bush.
Of course he did.
How do you feel about that?
I can't possibly be happy about it, so I guess I'm going to say that I don't feel very happy about it.
That's incredible. That's just incredible.
He said he would actually expand the drone bombing 6 times more than George W. Bush, and drone bomb other countries like Yemen, which we haven't declared war on, and Pakistan as well.
Crazy. Crazy guy. Crazy guy. Yeah. That's why I'm not voting for him.
Well, I'm a pacifist, so I just think that's unnecessary. Well, I hope it's unnecessary, I guess. I'm not entirely caught up on Middle Eastern foreign policy. But I mean, that seems, again, like crazy, and he's like just trying to appeal to war hawks. So like.
Totally. I don't agree with war either, and so any kind of war is bad.
He need work, man. We need somebody better to do those stuff. That's gonna lead us to war, to more terrorists coming into America and just destroy everything we got. So that can't be happening.
No collateral damage to other human beings. That's one of our basic human rights, being American or not.
I actually have a confession to make. I feel really bad. I lied. I'm actually not supporting Romney in any way, shape, or form. He probably would do those things, but what I mentioned, Obama has actually done within the last 4 years. He has passed the NDAA. He does have a secret kill list. He has expanded the Patriot Act. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean...
You can look it up yourself. I'm not lying.
He's Obama. Let me take a minute and think about that.
Oh, take your time.
Actually, those are not facts. All of those, what you just stated, those wasn't facts.
I wish I would have printed out the documents. They are.
Those are not.
However, I don't agree with everything President Obama has done, but for the greater good, most of the policies he's put in place, I agree with. So I'm definitely a supporter.
Wow. I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there's a lot of other reasons why I'm going to vote for Obama, and hearing that stuff honestly doesn't change it. I'm a liberal. I like the health insurance plan. I could list a million different reasons.
I take a look at what's going on and what I like and who does better. They both don't tell the whole truth, but I think that, we've got a choice, so the choice is not too good.
The lesser of two evils, sadly.
Yeah, although I signed on for the healthcare thing way early on.
Yeah, the human mind has a remarkable capacity for denial.
Again, unconstitutional and immoral.